Alors, bienvenue à ce panel lors de la réponse à l'incident, le bleu, le mauve et le rouge. Alors, il est essentiel de tester nos plans et méthodes de réponse aux incidents et de détection avant qu'un véritable incident de cybersécurité ne se produise. Alors, dans ce jeu complexe de chat et de la souris, découvrez comment les attaquants Red Team explorent les vulnérabilités, tandis que les défenseurs Blue Team mettent en place des défenses robustes. Comment mettre en place les synergies entre les équipes bleues et rouges en se préparant aux incidents du point de vue d'une véritable équipe mauve. Alors, ce panel sera animé par Mme Svetlana SIDENKO. Je lui cède immédiatement la parole.
Hello. Hi, hello. Welcome to our panel about the vital roles of red, blue, and purple teams in their cybersecurity team. I'm Svetlana SIDENKO. I'm Vice President of APSIDE Canada. It's a consulting company and training in cybersecurity. And I'm certified governance of IT professional, IT governance expert, and COBIT expert as well. And I'm thrilled to animate the panel today and about this important topic. So I'm quickly introducing what is red team, blue team, and purple team, and my panelists will explain it further. Their red team are defenders. The red teams are attackers. They simulate cybersecurity attacks trying to penetrate. The blue teams are defenders. They are responding to the attacks in the real time, building their defense mechanisms. These two teams together, it's a purple team building the strategy how to defend the company. At this point, I will pass the microphone to the panelists, so they will introduce themselves, and also they will introduce their role and context of their organization in this domain.
So, good afternoon. My name is Lester. So I work for Rogers CyberSecure Catalyst. We are a not-for-profit based in Ontario, funded by federal government, Ontario government, RBC, Rogers, and City of Brampton. So what I do there is I'm a senior cybersecurity advisor, running tabletop exercises, risk advisory, boot camps, workshops for our public and private clients. My previous experience, I worked in one of the banks based in Toronto, running their security exercise program. So cyber fraud, physical security, crisis management. So I ran the security exercise program for that bank. And in a previous life, I was a naval officer for the Singapore Navy, running the Wargaming and Simulation Center for the Navy. So nice to meet all of you. My experience with the purple teams, I helped run, coordinate some of the largest exercises here in Canada. So nice to meet all of you.
So, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eulise FERRER. I work at BNP Paribas. It's been 11 years with BNP. And my career spans 19 years of experience across multiple cybersecurity domains. Primarily, I started working in network security and extended rights management. And finally, I ended up in malware protection. So roughly 3 years ago in BNP, I took on the wonderful role of managing the blue team. So it's called Production CSIRT, Logging and Detection. It's split primarily between two. Production CSIRT is what all of us know as a 24/7 SOC, while the Logging Detection team is mostly engineering-oriented, primarily focused on log detection, parsing, and collection, as well as the SOAR platform and the creation, detection, and implementation of security use cases, which allow us for automated alerts for our automated security monitoring. So I've been managing the blue team, so I'll be primarily focusing on that color during this panel. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Do you hear me? Yeah? Okay. First of all, hello, everybody, again. I have a slightly different background from my esteemed co-panelist. Although I work with a large group, I was eager to create my own organization. So my name is OURO-GBELE. I'm expert and delivery lead in cybersecurity, and also the founder and CEO of OURO-GBELE Consulting, which is a cybersecurity consulting company based in Paris and in Africa. So once upon a time, I graduated as an engineer in network and telecommunication in one of the best engineering schools in France. I also possess a master's degree in security and of information system. I then started my career as a consultant at Accenture in Paris, where I built several systems such as IAM system, identity and access management, PAM system, privileged access management, PKI, public key infrastructure system for the biggest companies in finance field, oil and gas and energy. And after that, I then created OURO-GBELE Consulting with 3 main goals. The first goal was to help French and worldwide companies with the design and implementation of their IAM and PAM system. The second goal was to provide a governance, risk, and compliance advisory to our client. And the third and last goal was to provide a cost-effective cybersecurity offshoring services linked to IAM, PAM, and GRC to allow our client to focus on their core businesses while having their data and system remaining secure. So today at OURO-GBELE Consulting, we both operate as blue team and as purple team. So in the fact of the blue team, OURO-GBELE Consultants help client organization building a strong IAM and PAM system. And in the case of the purple team, our consultants help clients increase their resiliency by, running several simulation exercises, such as purple team, by defining guidelines based on best practices. So today, I'm mainly going to talk about the blue team and the purple team and how these 2 teams collaborate together. So thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. So welcome to the panel. Stephane VIAL. I'm managing the cybersecurity operations for CMA CGM. So not very known in Montreal, but it's a huge company with 160,000 people around the world. We're present everywhere in the world. We have 3 main business, I will say. So first one is shipping. So we're transporting containers from point A to point B. We have logistic also, so that's mean the with CYBERSECURE Logistics with the group. So we are managing hundreds of warehouses around the world, and nearly we also have the media part of it. So we bought 2 newspapers in France and also 6 TV channels also in France. So we are responsible of that also in terms of cybersecurity. So my entire scope is mainly for the cyber operations, so NetSec, SecOps, cloud security operation, and also for the application and security application offensive security team. So we're doing mainly the red team and purple team for the group.
Thank you very much for introduction. And at this point, I will ask everyone here, what is exactly red, blue, and purple teams are?
I think it's fine. Okay. So first of all, think of it as a real-world sport team. The blue team is the defense, the red team is the attack, and the purple team is the strategic coach. So for the blue team, the defense, they are concentrate to protect their goal and also to avoid an offense on their system. So they are the one detecting, and mitigating attack when it occurs. So globally, we call them the defender. And they are like the security guard of a company's digital assets. and they are focused on continuously monitoring, system. They are responding to incidents, and they are also working to prevent attack. So today, how does the blue team collaborate with the purple is by sharing their existing defense strategies and system. They are also identifying the gap which were exposed by the red team attack, and they just adapt and building a better defense. So with this, we will see that we will have like a collaborative, security posture overall.
Well, Radia almost explained it all, which is good. But I'll take more on the red team side, right? So basically what the red team does, as Radia explained, is the attack. The attack is basically trying to emulate real-world scenarios in which our security posture could be compromised. By leveraging different TTPs, you simulate those attacks, and that way the blue team has to test their defenses and their incident response around it. That allows organizations to actually be more on a proactive instead of a reactive mode in the case of a real scenario of an attack or an issue within a breach of your organization. And it's key and important, and I'll allow one of my other panelists to explain a little bit more purple why it's important to have synergy and a strong communication between both of the teams.
So I explained about purple team. So purple team, traditionally, it is a concept rather than a hard-bodied team in organizations. Most organizations will not have a standalone purple team. So normally it's project-based or exercise-based, where the purple team members, normally they draw it from your blue team, red team, or you can use an external consultant to come in for that duration of time, where you consult and be aware of what's happening on both sides, meaning the attack and defense. So the purple team there is, in cybersecurity, there are a lot of egos, right? Egos in blue team, egos in red team. The red team is trying to break in, the blue team is trying to defend. So the purple team there is trying to elevate any discussions, arguments, referee the discussion, referee the attacks, and sometimes just remind them we're all here working for the same company, and to not lose sight of that. So I think that's the construct of purple teaming, bringing both the red team and blue team together to optimize, whether it's defense, tweaking your defense, updating use cases. The red team bring in the intelligence-led best practices based on what's known as a threat actor that's most prevalent in your sector, do their best to emulate that, and that's where that information cycle between the blue team and red team can continuously improve even within a short period of exercise. So there are different ways to structure it, and we can talk more about it later.
So we talk about a lot about technical stuff, but one thing to have to take in consideration is also the reporting you have to do at your management or your C-level, mainly on the scope you are testing with the purple team. It's really important to have a baseline and to make sure that they're increasing. The score they have, it's really not important. You have to show to the C-level the progression or the improvement of your teams, so the red and also the blue team. So when we're doing some kind of reporting, you really have to adjust the message to don't, as you mentioned, Lester, don't degrade the people or degrade the esteem de soi of the people.
Thank you very much for these great explanations. Well, at this point, I propose to dive deeper on the topic and to discuss what exactly the purpose of the purple team, why we have to combine red and blue, and what are the specific benefits of the purple team.
So I'll cover the organizational angle of why we have purple team exercises, and then Eulise, Stephane will cover about benefits for blue and red team. So if you think of, and not many companies approach it this way, training, cybersecurity training. If you look at the entire spectrum of training, you start at the individual level, right? Individuals Normally, what do they use for training? Certifications, labs, technical training for the individual. So you start there. Once the individual is proficient, unfortunately, we don't work on our own. We work in teams. So that's where you elevate the training to theoretical team level training. So most of us have heard of or been involved in tabletop exercises. So that's where you bring the individuals and be part of the team and discuss what your incident response plans look like, what are the roles and responsibilities. So that's you moving up the sort of spectrum of training. Once you are happy, satisfied with theoretical training, you move to a bit more practical training. So normally an example of that is moving them into a cyber range, right? So that's not your environment. It's a contained environment where the technical teams get a bit more hands-on experience of what an attack looks like and defend against it. And at the extreme end, or the before a real attack, there's no best training besides defending against a real attack. So one level down is a purple team attack or purple team exercise. That's where either your in-house raid team or an external consulting raid team can launch an attack on your organization. And then your blue team within your infrastructure and your environment actively defends against it, right? So if you look at the entire spectrum of training, it serves two things. One, it demonstrates your organization having active risk mitigation, right? Most ORMs or enterprise operational risk management, a lot of it is theoretical. This is one of the few chances to show active risk mitigation. And the second, having a matured, if you can pull off an enterprise-wide purple team exercise and demonstrate the results from it, it shows the maturity of your entire organization and your cybersecurity program. So it's also a good indication of how your program is progressing. And hopefully your CISO sleeps better at night.
Thank you, Lester. So from that perspective, in terms of the blue team, the most important part, as Lester mentioned, is that you're able to effectively measure as close to real world the effectiveness of your team and the reaction you have. So what does that mean? First of all, it allows us to identify clearly whether our detection and response is actually capable of detecting as many attack scenarios or attack or make sure that we have a leverage of the attack surface as possible within our organization. It's a good way to measure based on the amount of activities or the amount of simulated attacks performed by the red team to know how many of them did you detect, how well did you detect them, did you have enough logs, did you have enough data to correspond them, and most importantly then, in terms of the blue team, in the side of the blue team, that means did you have a runbook that you followed? Did you have a playbook or a well-documented SOP that allowed you to quickly detect, potentially contain, or respond to that threat that was simulated by the blue team? One important aspect as well is the forensics and investigation part of it. At the end of the day, if your purple team is well coordinated and documented, and again, the key word, there is synergy between red and blue, you will be able to have comprehensive and well-documented results of that attack scenario, which will allow you to potentially improve or add or remove tasks that will expedite and make that response to those threats more efficient in the future.
And one last thing about that also, it's about publishing your result and also involving other teams in cybersecurity. So what are we doing at CMA? We involving IT teams, development teams to assist also to our purple team to make sure they understand correctly what kind of attack we are doing and how can they react also on their side by applying the right patch quickly on the infrastructure, developing the developing life cycle correctly, so applying the foundation on every task they're doing on a daily basis.
Thank you, everyone. And I would like to ask the panelists about their organizational strategies and how exactly your organizations integrate the purple team exercises in the overall cybersecurity strategy?
First of all, let me share a story about one of our clients where we did a purple team simulation exercises. It was on fintech company based in US who wanted to test their ability, to defend well their company. So first of all, we did a simulation exercises by defining several scenarios based on main threats in fintech sector, such as data breaches, such as ransomware attack, and also phishing. And all this in order to see how their blue team, detect and mitigating the attack. So what we noticed after these simulation exercises was that there are two main issues. The first one was the fact that we had a poor employee security awareness. And the second issue was the fact that we noticed that all the applications in the company didn't have the latest, cybersecurity patches. So how do we found the first issue? It's because we ran a phishing campaign and noticed that 30% of the employee had clicked on the malicious link coming from the phishing email, So all these findings were communicated, to the management and the leadership, and they decided to implement two main measures. And one of the measures was to have a quarterly cybersecurity training awareness for the employee and also the phishing campaign. And also they wanted to implement a tracking on the number of malicious clicks that an employee can have, so that we can have like a dedicated training for those who like clicking on the malicious email. And after, the second measure was the fact that they wanted to implement a vulnerability management system so that they can automatically apply the security patches and be sure that it is applied on a timely manner. So that's it for me.
Yeah, in terms of strategy, what are we doing also? It's to make sure to involve our GRC team, because they are responsible of the global risk register. They are responsible in terms of maturity to measure the maturity of the group and the teams. So they need to be informed and part of also of that those exercises. We need to measure also on not only the maturity of the cyber, but the maturity of other teams around the cyber, and including also business lines on that. So that's mean that we need to measure that, yes, by a awareness campaign and things like that, but we need also to provide them that information that we are ready to protect them with our services. Bring the metrics to management, really important. We have to adjust the roadmaps and the strategy for our next years. So they need to be informed and they need to be involved also in that. And show the insurance. We talked about that a couple minutes ago. So I know that you guys are dealing also with the cyber insurance. It's important to keep that in mind, that we have to keep the track of what are you doing in terms of red, purple, and blue, and prove them also that you're doing those kind of exercise to, I hope, reduce the cost of your yearly subscription to the insurance.
Thank you. Now let's discuss the blue team. Given that Verizon Data Breach Investigation Report, DBIR, states that 70% of security breaches involve human behavior and human element, which can lead to the compromised data, passwords, and secrets, how organizations can leverage identity and access management and privileged access management to enable blue teams to react quickly?
Okay, thank you. So, organization can leverage their with AIM and PAM by two ways. The first way is for the preventing part. For example, they can use what they call an adaptive authentication to notice the weird behavior that we can have. For example, if a user who needs to work from Paris, we just notice one day that he is connected from New York, an alert can be triggered and sent directly to his manager or the admin, for example. So this is for how AIM can help. Now for the second part, I will talk about how the PAM can help in the detection and the mitigation of the attack, and also how the collection of AIM PAM logs sent to the CM can also help in this case. So today you need to know first that with a PAM system, to connect to an asset, a critical asset in the system, the user needs to connect through a bastion. So if the user is in the bastion and the system notices like a weird behavior, automatically an alert also can be triggered. And also, they can directly freeze the session or kill the session. So this is how the PAM can help. And according to the log parts, you need to know that when we send the log, when AIM and PAM system send the log to the CM, the incident response team can do all the action that an AIM system can do in a bulk mode. It means that if like they receive a log where they found like a weird behavior, directly they can, in bulk mode, freeze, disable all the accounts linked to one identity, the suspect identity, or they can decide to directly change the password of all the applications that this suspected identity have access on. So you see that in this case, we don't have anymore to contact several teams, to lose time. So we are quickly detecting and quickly mitigating the risk. And we all know that for a company, it's really important to detect quickly, to mitigate quickly, so that you know that you will lose like few data and few money. So that's it.
Thanks, Radia. And I wanted to add something there. So IAM and PAM play a key role in the type of logs and events that we require for our investigations. If they are tied in closely with other security controls and tooling, I can think not limited to things like EDR, XDR, and network detection and response tools. Given the complexity and the whole variety of different attacks that are currently across the infrastructures of each one of the organizations, it is paramount and important, as Radia mentioned, to make sure that you have as much logs and visibility across all these different security controls and systems, and a good posture in terms of making sure that you have strong and proactive use cases that allow you not only to detect, but even proactively block and make sure that that you are getting alerted on time of during any of these potential security situations.
Thank you, Radia and Eulise. And my next question would be, how would be the Purple Team exercise improve the effective communication within the incident?
So a couple of points here. So yes, we have to make sure that the incident response team is part of the whole exercise for a couple of points. So they are responsible of the playbook for the incident response plan. So by assisting and be involved in those exercises, that's refine and also elaborate new playbooks in case of attack, so they can react on that. They can prepare. Test 1, 2. Okay. So yeah, so they can be more prepared to face a real cyber attack. And finally, they are the people also working on providing TTX to the couple of business lines and IT, so they can also be more prepared to face a real, or I will say, almost real exercise or cyber TTX exercise for business and for IT also.
Thank you, Stephane. And my next question is about team collaboration. The effective and efficient functioning of red, blue, and purple teams, they really depend on a great degree of collaboration between them. From your experience and from what you know about these teams, what is the role of leadership in ensuring this collaboration and in setting overall the security culture in your organizations?
Okay. First of all, you need to know that the good leaders are the one who build the strong security teams. So today, the leadership, role in the promoting of the cybersecurity culture in the company is really critical, and it's linked to key factor that you can find in, for example, ISO 27001 and also the NIST framework, where they put an emphasis, on the management commitment and the leadership involvement. So, in my point of view, we can do it with like four advice. For example, the leadership, they need to make everybody know that the cybersecurity is the matter of everybody in the company and not only the IT folks first. In the second part, they need to bring different teams together so that they can talk and work together. And in the third part, they need to give their team the different tools so that they can practice the attack. And the last part is they have, the obligation to create a safe environment in their company where everybody can just come and report an issue, a problem, without being afraid that they are going to be blamed. So
thank you, Radia. I'd like to add or emphasize as well on the importance of creating a strong cybersecurity culture and training, not only for the teams involved within IT, but also within the whole organization. If you invest time and money in training all of your end users, your attack surface gets reduced. It's simple math, but sometimes organizations struggle a bit with it and they see cyber more as an expense. So that would be a key thing that organizations need to focus on. And as well, making sure that whenever you start creating or planning for purple team exercises, you make sure that you have a clear set of goals and the vision around what you want to accomplish. Are you only testing your blue team response? Are you testing the detection capabilities? Or are you looking actually to make sure that you have some results that will allow you to get more investment or money or training based on the response as well from the end users? So it's very important that all these vision and expectations are clear from the start.
And purple team exercises don't happen if you have no leadership buy-in, right? Because there's a lot of risks involved in running a live exercise on your production systems. So somebody needs to sign off, somebody needs to say, okay, somebody needs to tell the business leader something may go wrong, you may need to apologize to your clients if something goes wrong. So having that awareness, having the gumption to organize a purple team exercise, to get it signed off, is not easy, right? But it's a clear demonstration that your company takes it seriously, and importantly enough to demonstrate that the defense is ready to thwart off any attack or even respond if something will happen. So strong leadership, purple team exercises can only happen if there's strong leadership. So something important to keep in mind.
Thank you, Lester. So they said everything I want to say. So sorry. Yeah, commitment of management, it's one of the key topics for that. Another thing is the not commitment, more than commitment on the management, but they need to be ready to assign the right resource at the right place to doing the right exercise. Okay, so they don't need to be shy to invest on people to execute those type of exercise. And 3 words: compliance, compliance, and compliance. So you will be challenged on every type of situation when you're doing those type of exercise. Everyone will challenge you. So be ready to show what you have and be compliant with the different regulation or certification that you need to have.
Thank you. And we are getting to the end of our time for this wonderful panel. And I will ask panelists to give the advice to the organizations who are building their incident response teams. In a short, one sentence, the top advice, what would you give?
Yeah. So OSFI, the regulator for banks, they came out with a paper April last year, April 2023, cyber intelligence-led cyber resilience testing. So it's a framework for how banks can use purple team exercises to demonstrate readiness. So it's quite a well-structured paper, fairly easy to read. I think it's like 20 pages. So it's a good framework to, if you are thinking about how you're going to mature your exercise program with purple team, so that's a good framework. So April 2023 by OSFI. Yeah.
Thank you, Lester. So a lot of the organizations, because the blue and red teams are normally reporting to different lines, tend to think a lot about building or structuring them around segregation of duties. Don't get me wrong, segregation of duties is important with both teams, but you also need to account for cross-collaboration and transparency and communication, given the importance that purple teams have right away. So my strongest suggestion would be make sure that you have a clear framework built around, even if you're not planning to start from the go with the purple team, make sure that you have it planned for the future, that there's a clear framework that allows you to quickly start engaging in those type of exercises and activities.
So I will just resume in 3 things. You need to know that the teamwork make the dream work, make your team work together to have a better defense. Second stuff, just automate the boring thing. Use tools to automate it so that you can free up the time of your teams, and then they can focus on the big issue. And the last point, don't be afraid to ask help. And we are here for that. At OJT Consulting, for example, we help our client building a strong security plan and building also the best, cybersecurity team. So thank you very much.
So quickly, yeah. For sure that if you want to start that journey, you need to involve the blue, the red, and the purple at the beginning. And one advice I can give you is you have to hire the very expert at the beginning. Okay, don't go with the I don't go with the junior and thinking that they're going to grow at the same time of your team or your maturity. It's not true. So go with the expert at the beginning, build something, a good foundation, and after that you can grow at the level of the enterprise can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eulise, Lester, Radi, and Stephane. And I believe we still have a couple of minutes for questions. Is there any question from audience?
Hello, my name is Ali. Thank you for the different insights that you are sharing with us. I have 2 questions. First one is, are you using threat intelligence to feed your red and purple team exercises? And if this is the case, can you please describe in a high-level manner your process? My second question is how you are prioritizing your different purple team campaigns. And thank you.
So thank you for a question. So for the CTI, for sure, they are involved at the beginning and they are part of the journey also. So we're using, I will say, human and machine to build the proper CTI information, to inform or to play the other, I will say, next exercise or next testing that we have to do. For the other question, you have to make sure that you have the good expert at the right place. That's my answer for that. You want to?
Yeah, so I'd like to add, in our case, for example, we have a dedicated CTI team. So we have a threat intelligence team, and at the same time, there are some detection use cases that are leveraging them. So the CTI team has access to import any well-known TTPs that they are aware of based on all the all the investigations they perform and all the different sets of information they receive. And that way, we have dedicated use cases that can trigger alerts for our SOC to respond to them after the input from the dedicated CTI team. Sorry.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the panel. Just a quick question about specifically for red teams. Under a highly regulated environment, maybe Stephane, this would be for you, certainly when you're trying to adhere to compliance, how are you making sure that the red team actually holds the proper tooling to conduct their exercises?
Yeah, that's a good question. So yes, because we are facing so many regulation, we are present in 160 countries in the world. We are facing all the China hack, Patriot hack, every hack that you can name. We are facing those things. So yes, we have different way to do red teaming in the team based on the scope. So I mean by that, if we're testing an application in Middle East, we have to have the proper approvals to do it, and we have to follow certain rules also. So management and C-level are already also involved in that decision to test an application or to test something outside of the main data center that we have in the world.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I had one question for you. What is your dependence, if any, on breach and attack simulation software?
Thank you. So at least I'll speak from my perspective within BNP. So in terms of purple teaming, we leverage primarily two tools. One of them is an attack emulation tool that our red/purple team utilizes. And basically what it does is you ingest any TTPs or any activities you want to emulate. And then they are spread across the infrastructure. We define first the scope, of course, to try to avoid any breaches. And based on that, then the blue team responds. At the same time, we also have a tool that allows us to it's actually a well-known open source platform that allows us to document both any purple team activity. So the red team actually inputs all the TTPs and all the activities they performed. And at the same time, the blue team has access to that same exercise and inputs primarily everything that was detected, all the actions, what playbook did we follow, and any type of improvement. So we are way past the time when we were documenting everything in an Excel spreadsheet and a file, and we're trying to leverage the majority of the tools that are currently available. Thanks for the question, though.
Thank you.
Hi. Some of you already didn't know me. I have just one question. Did you try or actively put some deceptive security to trap the red team or to put in the purple team or the blue team? Is it something in place on your organizations?
Not yet. Not yet on our side. So we're talking about that. Okay. Exactly. We already thinking about it. So it's in the pipe for the next years, yes. But we don't use it today for this.
There is a honeypot, I would say. Okay. And yes, we are in the process, if not already, of building a detection use case that leverages our honeypot. So if there's a trigger of an alert of that specific detection use case, that means that someone tried to leverage that system, and then we can start performing our investigation.
Well, I would like to thank everyone for the questions and the panelists okay. So I would like to thank everyone for the questions and panelists for the great and comprehensive answers. And at this point, we close our session. Thank you very much.